Hey everybody, Rich Monroe here, BNB Investing Group. Thanks again to jump on. I'm super excited this week. We've got a good friend of mine, Julie George, calling in today all the way from Australia. And
G'day, g'day.
so before we get started, BNB Investing Group is a group that helps investors that want to look at the short-term rental model, and we kind of explore the different options, whether you want to manage a property, do rental arbitrage, master lease, or if you want to buy distressed and grow a scalable business. And so BNB Investing Groups works with a lot of investors to kind of help them do that business. Julie also helps investors, remotely too. And so we're going to chat a little bit about that. But I'm really interested, Julie, to kind of dig in. I know your summary of your background. You and I have spoken on several panels before, but I'd love to kind of do a deeper dive today, just to kind of get a little bit more of the nuggets out of you as far as your experience and how you grew.
Oh, absolutely. My favorite stories to tell. So g'day to anybody who's tuning in right now. Yes, as Rich said, I'm coming to you from Australia. So it's already, Friday here in Australia. And, and I make the joke that the future is bright and I can give you the lotto numbers. If short-term rentals or property investing is not for you, maybe we can all go and win the lotto. But yeah, really excited to get on a call with you today, and any excuse to catch up with my buddy Rich. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us from the beginning, how long ago did you get started, and kind of what brought you into short-term rentals?
Yeah, it's amazing to think it's only 7 years ago. So 2016 was when I discovered short-term rentals, and it was much like most people that have fallen into this industry. It was through one of my own properties. So I had a little one-bedroom apartment where the tenant moved out. It was already furnished, and I thought, well, I'm going to give this Airbnb phenomenon a crack, see what all the fuss is about. And I managed to just pop some linen in, put the Wi-Fi on, take some photos on my trusty iPhone, and of course uplisted that to Airbnb. And within hours had my first booking. Within days had my first guest. Fell in love with it. The money, the returns. Suddenly I was able to use my own investment property, which I've never been able to use before. I had owned it for over 10 years and never slept in it once. But now, if I had the mother-in-law coming to town, I didn't have to have her stay in my house. I could put her in my short-term rental property. So there's, I guess, if you're an investor looking to get into the space, there is a bonus that you can put your family and friends into those properties, or use the property yourself if you're not using it. But so discovered the amazing space and the reciprocal reviews, and everyone was on their best behavior. So I fell in love with the whole concept, and then thought to myself, if it's working for me, it could probably work for other property investors. Now, I was working as a realtor at the time in a very flat market, and just dealing with property investors that were screaming for a good return. They were just not seeing any returns on their investments. They were selling for a loss. And suddenly this concept came to me that, well, why don't we turn some of these properties into short-term rentals, and I can be a property manager. So that structure started. I was able to offer a homeowner, let's go out and find a property to buy. So firstly, we would select a property. Then I would offer to furnish the property for a cost, and then I was managing it for a commission. And it really worked so beautifully that the structure that I put in place catapulted me to 130 properties and well over $8 million on Airbnb within 2.5 years. So
That's incredible.
I know. I think back now and go, what the hell? That was nuts. So over 8 million in 2.5 years. And then just perfect timing. Before COVID, I got a tap on the shoulder of someone who wanted to buy the business. So I sold it, and of course wrote a few books, which you can see in the background here. And now I'm in the coaching space and helping others replicate that success that I've seen.
All right, so those of you that are joining, please throw a yes in the comments just to make sure that you can hear us okay. I want to make sure that we're coming across clearly. So let's back up a minute. So you started with your own apartment, and you very quickly went to managing other people's properties. did you do multiple of your own apartments first, or did you just go straight from that?
I went straight. I had one of mine, and eventually I had 6 of mine that were on short-term rentals on this platform. But I just went from one straight in and found a client. And the way I found my very first client was interesting. She was a property investor who was actually looking just to purchase a positive cash flow property. And I didn't laugh out loud at her. I did a snigger behind my hand and went, there isn't any. There's no, that's a unicorn. You can't find a positive cash flow these days, just standard, but we can create one. And that's what I said to her. I said, let's go and find a property you want a vacation in, and then let's buy it, furnish it, I'll manage it. And honestly, it worked so beautifully that 6 months later, she rang me and she said, Julie, do it again. Go and get me another one. So she ended up having 2 properties with me. She didn't even see the second one. She just trusted me to go and buy her a property and furnish it and manage it for her. God, they're the ideal clients, right? But yeah, and honestly, from there, it was the secret to then gaining more properties for me was really being able to educate my community, tell them what I was doing, become the guru, the Airbnb go-to girl, and put some articles in newspapers, a great website, wear a name badge everywhere I went. So, and I know that sounds crazy, but I am the queen of self-branding. But I would wear a name badge even to the grocery store, and the store attendant may be saying, what do you do? And of course, that led me into my elevator pitch of short-term rental management. If, I'm looking for a particular property type, if you can help me, I would appreciate it. And of course, with that simple ask, that call to action, people were coming in and wanting their properties listed on Airbnb.
Very nice. And so I'm assuming you did a lot of like real estate networking groups as well to kind of meet with some of the folks that own properties?
Yeah, absolutely. And working in with your local realtors. So a lot of, initially I thought they're going to look at me as competition. They're probably not going to want to talk to me. But I found a way of being able to approach these real estate agents to say, let me help you. And one of my favorite strategies, which I'm going to drop right here now, and folks keep commenting in that in the comments section just to let us know if you've ever done this yourself. But I would go to open homes. I would look for those fully furnished, overpriced luxury properties that were sitting on the market long term. I would go in there and say, would you like me to help you sell your property? And of course, every real estate agent would absolutely, their interest would be piqued at that question. So I would then say to them, let me put together an appraisal report, a free report to show a potential investor just how much money we could make on this property if we listed on short-term rentals.
Guys, that's a huge nugget there. Make sure you absorb that. That's a huge one.
And so, of course, no one said no to that. So I would go back, do up a 1-page document saying, this property's been identified as being a short-term rental goldmine. Here are 2 comparable properties, and I would list those with photos. Here is my suggested nightly rate that I think you could achieve on this property. If you do, and I put a paragraph of information on, you need to put a sofa bed in, you need to turn your Wi-Fi on, you need to put some new artwork up. So I'd make some suggestions, and of course a call to action right at the end of that document saying, if you don't want to manage it yourself, talk to Julie. Julie will do it for you. And in fact, to this day, I have that template on my website. If anybody wants to not have to reinvent the wheel, come to milliondollarhost.com.au and you can download it and you can start using it today. But easy strategy. No one says no to that. And of course, you develop that relationship with your realtor. And then the second phase, sorry, Rich, I'm giving away all the information today.
No, keep flowing. Keep flowing. I love it.
The second phase to this getting in good with real estate agents was I would say to that real estate agent, why don't we short-term rent the property while you're trying to sell it? I'll clean it for you. I will block the calendar for your open homes. I will promote it on my website. And of course, they were very excited that suddenly they're going to produce an income for their homeowners while they're trying to sell. But they're also being able to say to potential investors and buyers, come and try before you buy. Come and sleep
Absolutely.
in the property. And so that was something they would put in their marketing. Sleep in the property, try it out, and then you can make a purchase on this property.
Yeah,
No brainer.
we've done successful, dual listing the property at the same time, synchronizing the calendar so they can, basically coordinate their viewings after you've cleaned the property, after that guest is checked out, and it works
Perfect.
ideally. And basically 60, 90 days while they're trying to sell it, they're generating revenue. So that's a great win-win for everybody.
And then hopefully the potential buyer that's going to take on that property gets to meet you, gets to experience your management firsthand, continues that relationship.
Definitely. Love it. So, so back to the growth over that 2.5 years. And so most of those properties were kind of exactly what you're describing. You would manage it for a percentage. What was your management fee that you would charge?
Yeah, 25% of the Airbnb payout. Now, this is really important, folks. If you're listening in, wording your offer to a homeowner is really important that you get this right. And I would always say 25% of the payout of Airbnb or VRBO or Booking.com. For me, I was 100% Airbnb. I wanted to keep my business super simple. I didn't want to run management software. The simpler the better, these businesses, but 25% plus the cleaning fee is what I was charging, and most people are happy to pay that because that included all the consumables. So I was making sure that I was taking care of all the toilet paper, the shampoos, the conditioners, that type of thing, so that the homeowner just had to sit back and at the end of the month collect their check.
Well, I actually have mine structured slightly different. So we
do
25% of the gross rental revenue, and then it's a pass-through expense off of the remaining revenue for any expenses, including toilet paper, paper towels, and so on. Handyman has to come unclog a toilet for $100. That comes out of the rental revenue after the management fee. So, we kind of make sure that if there's any major thing wrong with the property that's beyond your control, that you're not getting penalized for that. But that's a good selling point to include, because the supplies really don't come to that much monetarily, but we try to make it clear that our management fee comes first before all those other expenses do.
Yeah, that's good. And cleaning fee, do you collect that?
Yeah, we collect that, and usually we appreciate the value in the cleaning process, and we don't usually try to nickel and dime that. And so I'm not trying to make any kind of money. It's, if I'm charging $180 for the cleaning fee, that gets collected, it goes straight to the cleaners.
Yeah, I did the same. So that's where I passed that straight through to I called mine co-hosts. And this was I'm going to give you another secret now. So this is the secret sauce to scaling really quickly. I had co-hosts that I was paying the cleaning fee plus 6%. Out of that 25% that I was charging, 6% plus the cleaning fee went to these co-hosts. And I set mine up like a franchise. So I had property portfolios where the co-hosts were doing all guest communications, meet and greet in person. So this is pre-COVID. They were doing all the cleaning, the laundry, and then reporting of maintenance. So it was like these properties that they were assigned were their own little business. And with that structure, I could easily see how much money was coming to me. I knew 19% of all bookings were coming into my pocket. I knew 10% of that was pretty much profit. So it averaged 10% profit on any income coming in. So it cost me 9% basically to run the consumables, the software, all the other runnings of the business. But not only that, with this structure of the co-hosts taking care of everything, they were able to be empowered. They had pride in their work. They were able to have unlimited earnings. They knew that if they could encourage a guest to stay longer or upsell any of our property or any of our amenities or get them to buy tours, for example, or extra experiences, they were going to make some money on that. So yeah, it was a bit of a win-win, and the structure was great. But what sort of structure have you got? This is the best part about these interviews and these lives, is I can be curious and find out what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, no, I love your franchise model concept. We've grown into other markets, and kind of formed similar relationships with cleaning teams to kind of give them that empowerment. And we looked at it a little bit differently. We don't really give them a percentage of the revenue, but what we do, we kind of help them grow. So we usually on purpose start with a smaller mid-sized company. We use Tampa as an example. We expanded into the Tampa market about 2 years ago, and Marva and I spent about 2 or 3 weeks there getting everything set up. We had about the opportunity to manage 20 different properties that are all single family homes, 4 and 5 bedroom houses. And so we met with multiple different cleaning teams, and we, on purpose chose one that was, young, eager, wanted to grow. They didn't have that many clients. They were, somewhat of a startup. They did a great job with the cleaning process. And so we basically said, look, we're going to tap you in here as our go-to cleaner with these first 20 properties. As we grow and add more, you guys are going to be, growing with us. But we are going to give you some, higher expectations on being our go-to cleaner. So you're going to have to replenish our supplies. You may have to go out to the property occasionally if the maintenance folks if it's kind of something that's not in your bailiwick. Yeah. And so we really, developed that partnership more so than a contractor client relationship. And so, I love the 6%. That's something that is definitely kind of a no-brainer there. But looking back on it, I think we were able to kind of do that by, we let them name their own price, right? So if it's a 4-bedroom house and it's $200 in cleaning, when the market's probably charging $175, we'll pay the $200. That's fine. Yeah. But we get a dedicated focus on it, and they have grown with us. They've hired their own cleaners as they've grown, and that's worked out good. Yeah.
See, and so then you're being seen as being a mentor to these other smaller businesses, and I think. And anyone who's listening in right now, I would say just change the narrative. If you're struggling to find a cleaner for your properties, change the narrative and don't offer them a job, offer them a business opportunity and partner with them and love them and mentor them and show them how that they can build their own business, help them employ other people. I had one lady, she had 23 properties in her portfolio. Now, she didn't do any cleaning herself. She had her mum and her sisters doing the cleaning, and she was just doing the inspections, but she was earning $3,000 to $4,000 a week. And so she was great she had this great little business under mine. Now, having key performance indicators, of course, is really important. So I had to monitor to make sure she was at the right standards. But simply, we can just look at reviews. So if if a guest review comes back and says, hang on, the cleaning was really not up to scratch here, that would mean that I would need to go back and retrain or take that property off her and give it to one of my other co-hosts. And so it was almost like a reward system. If you were doing really well and you had the capabilities to take on more properties as a co-host, I'd give you another property. And so it was endless opportunity. I guess, folks, if you're looking to grow your short-term rental business, maybe consider like what Rich has done. Find those young, eager, enthusiastic entrepreneurs just wanting an opportunity and present this to them. Become that matchmaker between a property investor who wants to be on short-term rentals, the eager entrepreneur who wants the opportunity. Put them together.
So just for clarification, Julie, your co-host structure, is the co-host also handling the guest communication?
Yeah, they were.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I got them to do everything. Once I had a property onboarded, I would be able to flick that across to my co-host and say, right, now you're doing all guest communications. And of course, the guest communications, they would just introduce themselves as, hey, I'm Glenn, I'm Julie's co-host, I'll be looking after you. So that's how I was able to have 130 properties under Julie's profile on Airbnb. But then Glenn had 20 of them. Natalie had 23 of them. And it worked beautifully, actually.
And by the way, guys, the co-host is doing a lot of that heavy lifting. Guest communications and cleaning is a big part of the hospitality business. And, you know, to have them, you know, obviously you're building the infrastructure to bring them the opportunity and growing, but, you know, it's going to free up your time to continue to grow your business. So I love that model. Definitely.
I guess to dive a little deeper into it, and because you were talking about Tampa and remote hosting is always something that comes up. Like, how do you trust or how do you grow your portfolio if you're not in that locality? What I was doing with that, and I have been mentoring people to do this themselves, is I actually just increased the commission that I paid those co-hosts to 10% in those remote areas. But then I added some extra duties. I said, you need to go out and you need to do the appraisals on properties. You need to onboard those properties. You need to furnish them. You need to organise the photographer. You need to deal with the homeowners. And so I was able to really step it up for those remote co-hosts, paying them a little bit extra, but giving them the extra duties of even buying the consumables, the shampoos, the conditioners, the toilet paper. That then had to come out of their 10%. But overall, I was still in the background supporting with the all the finances, all the listings, management, the software side of things. So I guess, folks, if you're looking at taking on remote hosting, it is possible. You just need to put the right structure in place.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. And so once your portfolio grew to that size, were you in multiple markets, I'm imagining, besides?
Well, it's funny. I always thought I'm going to go everywhere, especially in Australia. I'm going to take over all of Australia. When I looked in my own backyard, within a 30-mile radius, there were thousands of short-term rentals. And I thought, I'm just going to stay here. So all 130 were within that,
perfect.
that driving distance. So I didn't venture further. But the model that I was just speaking about, the remote hosting, I've actually helped implement with companies in the United States. So most of my clients are in the United States. And so watching them being able to live in Cabo San Lucas and implement it in Raleigh, North Carolina, it works. It absolutely works. But folks, I would say look in your own backyard and I'm a little bit of a control freak, I must admit. So even though I had these people running these properties under their own authority, it was still under my name. So I wanted to make sure that if something went wrong, gosh, I was able to get there. So yeah, I guess logistically speaking, we've got somebody that's commented that that's better. Yeah, for me it was. But if you want to take on the challenge of running remotely, it is possible.
I lost you for a second there. Sorry.
I know, just froze. Sorry, we're playing statues, folks, if you're listening. Once again, I'm in Australia. Rich is over in Atlanta, so we've got a little bit of there's the Pacific Ocean in between.
Yeah, I'm going to put your website out in the comments. Also going to put my website out in the comments. I don't usually do that, but in this next few minutes, we're going to be also digging into kind of what you do on the coaching side as well. Yeah. And so, guys, this is a great opportunity, to ask any questions. Feel free to put them in the comments. And as we get closer to the end of the session, we'll definitely try to get some of those questions answered. Like I mentioned, I put my Facebook group or my website out there, Julie's website out there. We both do coaching for investors at different levels. And so, not only have we kind of sharing that experience that we both had with growing a portfolio and scaling it and being able to, really do it at a level where you're not doing a lot of the heavy lifting and a lot of the work. Once you go live with that listing, you turn that puppy on and you put it into your process. And when you set it up that way, it's very easy to grow a scalable business. And in your case, going from 0 to 130 properties, we got up to 75 properties in our business. And so the key is really just, continually enhancing the efficiencies and making sure you can continue to scale. Besides management, we also did master leasing as well as buying properties, and very similar to working with investor landlords that own properties. We also do the master lease strategy where, if you've got a 30-unit building and you have 1 or 2 units that you start out with because the owner of the building's like not really sure what you're doing. Consistently after the first 2-3 months, they're like, oh my goodness, this is great. Can we do more properties? I've got another tenant that's moving out next month. Are you interested in that one? So you'll find very quickly after 1 or 2 relationships in the master lease world that you can definitely scale your business very quickly by a couple of different relationships. So
it's pretty cool, isn't it, Rich? Like, honestly, it's just incredible to see. Well, I see it all the time. I've been mentoring over, I think, 200 companies now to see. Just it's hard work when you start off, I've got to say, and anybody who's listening in right now, don't just think you go straight to living the high life. You do need to get in and do some of the hard work yourself to start with. But once you've got the framework in place, once you've got the structure, once you've got procedures in place, honestly, it's all about lifestyle and having that lifestyle balance. For me, 130 properties, I was working 10 hours a week. And I would turn up to my office and the girls would say, stop, what are you doing here? Don't touch anything. And at that stage, I was like, yes, I've made it. I'm going to throw you on the spot now. At 75 properties, how many hours a week are you working?
I'm probably close to that, 8 to 10 hours. We on purpose have 0 employees, so we outsource everything. And so we've got virtual assistants that do, our back office bookkeeping and guest communications, and then and that's 24/7. And then we also, like I talked about earlier with the cleaning team, we have a similar relationship with a lot of local maintenance and handymen that have been with us for a long time and that understand the urgency when somebody's calling on a Saturday that the toilet's clogged. So, we on purpose don't want to have employees. One of the reasons I shifted to short-term rentals is we stopped doing a lot of fix and flips, and it just becomes a job, right? I mean, you're managing people to be there to show up and do the right work, and so we've kind of structured it on purpose to kind of be hands off that way. And so we've got. I probably do need to get like a director of operations at some point. But right now we've been able to do it, with just myself and Marva. And Marva, my wife, she manages and oversees the entire cleaning process. You talk about the heavy lifting. She also does all of the staging for our properties, and we still do rehabs as well. So she manages the contractors with choosing out the tile colors and the paint colors and all that stuff. So it's not just me. It's she is doing a lot of the work.
I hope you're paying her well.
Of course. She gets half.
Good on you, Marva. Well, it's interesting that you should say about the employee side of things. I didn't employ somebody as a team member until I had 50 properties. And a lot of people are surprised by that. But honestly, I didn't want to take the risk of having to be responsible. Well, I didn't want to take the risk of having to be responsible for somebody's wage and somebody's income when it can be turbulent. Our bookings, can go up and down with what's going on in the world. So it was 50 properties that I got until I employed somebody. But then I did take somebody on, like a property manager, operations manager, who then was able to deal with homeowners and look after the property owners and do the appraisals and then supervise these co-hosts. But it's I guess, folks, if you're listening out there, the one thing that Rich and I probably both didn't have when we started, and Rich, I'm going to throw this question to you, was did you have a mentor or a coach or somebody to show you what to do when you started? Because I didn't, and I made every mistake under the book, in the books.
Yeah, I mean, today I know a lot of people like you that are successful and others. But yeah, we started about 8 years ago. And so at 8 years ago, Airbnb was a fairly new thing as well. Yeah. And so a lot of what we kind of implemented, we kind of have to learn along the way and kind of make mistakes. And so, no, I didn't really have anyone to reach out to say, hey, what do you do when this happens?
No. And, I look back now and I talk about 130 properties. I probably took on about 180 properties, but 50 of them told me to go and jam it for whatever reason because I'd made a mistake. But there was a lot of, I think it's, I remember trying to set guidelines with property owners so you weren't micromanaged. Well, I didn't get that right until about 18 months in. And now, of course, I've got, I can teach others how to set those guidelines straight away. So folks, if you're looking to get into this industry now, you need to go to someone like Rich. And Rich, I'm going to throw a question to you in a second about what you're doing with your coaching. But or if you are established and you've got 5-10 properties and you're looking to scale, you come to someone like me just for the shortcuts. We can fast track the success that you will have in this industry. You will have it anyway, because we have seen how you can be successful, but don't do it the long way. Don't do it without somebody showing you the shortcuts, the steps, the paperwork that you need. So Rich, what are you doing with your coaching? Because I want to know, who should be going to you? What are they doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, on purpose, we target and talk to a lot of folks that are like I was 8 years ago, honestly. I was burnt out from doing rehabs. I was burnt out from being a long-term landlord. You evict somebody after they don't pay you, and then you have to get the house rehabbed again. And you look at the numbers and you're kind of banging your head up against the wall. Why am I doing this? So a lot of our clients are folks that are in real estate already. They may already doing wholesaling. They might be doing fix and flipping. They might be long-term landlords, and they're looking for another alternative to be able to kind of get passive income. And so, we have kind of a 90-day program that focuses on the objective of getting that first listing set up and running and generating revenue. And we kind of customize it to whether that person wants, everyone has different wants and needs and there are different stages. So, we look at, the first thing we do is we run an analysis to see, well, what's the best strategy for you for that first 90 days? I mean, we do all three in our business, and I would recommend having that diversity. I like the diversity, frankly. But you got to start with one of them, right? So we kind of strategically walk through the best approach, and whether you want to do master lease rental arbitrage, and you're still going to need some cash to do that. You're going to need between 10 and 12,000, even if it's a 1-bedroom per unit, to get things started to invest in it. Management of properties is a good way to go, like we've talked about as well. You're able to make some income. You can charge for the market analysis, as well as helping to stage and set up the property, and then you can make up to 25% of the gross rental revenue. And then, of course, if you're already buying properties and rehabbing them, you already have investment properties in your portfolio, you can definitely, fold those into being able to put in a self-management process to get those properties staged and set up and self-manage. And so the whole objective here is to, lay the groundwork and put things in place, like we've talked about. How do you find the right cleaning team? How do you find the right maintenance folks in the beginning? What's the best way to set up your listing on Airbnb to be strategic and maximize your revenue? A lot of that basic stuff, just to kind of get your foundation in place. And then after that 90 days, we hope to equip you with kind of a rinse and repeat approach, and have the ability to kind of scale your business from there. And so, during those 90 days, we also do 3 one-on-one meetings along the way to kind of sanity check and help you with the market analysis to make sure your numbers are right before you sign that lease, or before you sign your management agreement with the client, or before you purchase that house. And then we also, do a one-on-one with you, right at the point where you have the property ready to go, to make sure that you've got all your tools in place for price optimization, channel manager, and things like that. And then we also do a week grouply call every Wednesday, where we have everybody in a group setting, and we can kind of touch on any things that you're having. So they're also going through an online course during the 90 days at their own pace. And basically, that's kind of the way that we approach it. We kind of like to do a hybrid where we do some one-on-one, some group coaching, and some online.
That's so cool. I think it would just be so reassuring, and having someone like you by your side if you're starting out. And I wish I had known you back in 2016, because I would have grabbed you and Mava, and being able to just know that somebody's there to help you and answer those questions, and just run by the different strategies. It's fun, like, I've done all 3 strategies now. I've got an arbitrage apartment across the road here that I'm running at the moment. I've done the ownership, done the management. So it's really interesting to see how it all ties together. But folks, you just need to look for the right opportunity, and the right opportunity plus the right coach of, having Rich by his side, that excites me. Actually, can I just ask anybody who's listening in right now, I just would be really interested in knowing who is listening in. Throw a comment in the Facebook chat about whether do you have a short-term rental property at the moment? Are you interested in it? Or do you have an existing portfolio and looking to scale? Just so that we can, I guess, know who we're speaking to in the audience. But yeah, throw us a comment. It's a little hard when you're doing these lives. You don't actually know who's listening in. So I guess
Right.
it's nice to know, where are you as well. That's the other question I always like to know. What part of the world are you in? But yeah, it's exciting, Rich, and good on you for doing. There's not many of us doing this one-on-one coaching, but I think that's pretty amazing if someone can have that mentoring. So we've got a midterm rental operator, 2 units and counting. Oh, I love that. Midterm rentals, on point. That's that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your coaching process. How does it work? And who's your target client that you can help?
Yeah, look, and I'm loving this. I'm in Atlanta, and Rich is my Trini hero. Lol. What's a Trini hero? Do I ask?
Trinidad.
Oh, of course. I thought it might be a cartoon character or something. I was like, wow, whatever. We'll keep it clean, folks. And someone's got 3 in Florida. Work with Rich for coaching. He's the best. Oh, he absolutely is the best. So look, folks, I have done group coaching before, and I have decided to go one-on-one because I just my ideal people to work with are the graduates of Rich's one-on-one coaching. So once you've gone through and you've got a number of properties, but it's time to perhaps look at putting on a cleaner. Or time to put on employees, or it's time to scale up. If you've decided you love this industry, you want to give away your day job, they're my favorite people to work with that are looking to make a real business out of this opportunity. And so I do one-on-one coaching. I try and limit it to keep only working with 5 or 6 companies at a time each week, so that I can deep dive into that company's bottlenecks, challenges, see what is happening, and then put myself in their shoes and say, if I were you, I would be doing A, B, and C. And so really being able to just help that company reach for the stars. A couple of case studies. Actually, my favorite people to work with have been school teachers. I've worked with 2 school teachers now who came to me probably well over a year ago, and both in different areas, but one said to me, I just want to get out of school teaching, help me. So I said, right, this is I actually did the beginning and the advanced stuff, but told them what they needed to do. One is at 80 properties now. The other one is at 150. So has kicked my ass well and truly with my portfolio size. But yeah, just helping put that framework in, helping clarify the vision of being a CEO of the company, but then and achieving some goals, whether it be even preparing sometimes to sell your business. So I have sold my business. So maybe it is with an exit plan in mind that I'm helping that company work towards. So like you, Rich, I offer the 15-minute free Zoom. So anybody who is out there listening right now, if you do want to book in a Zoom one-on-one with me or with Rich, if you are looking to start in this industry, talk to my buddy here. If you're already advanced and you're looking to scale up, exit, do something a little more, come and have a chat to me. We refer business to each other, of course, because this industry is so collaborative, and we all it's like a big group hug once you're in, but we'll all help each other. But yeah, I love it. I love doing what I do, mostly working with the American market. So although I'm based here in Australia, I primarily work with the North American markets, Mexico, Canada as well. I've just come back from England. I was at the coronation. I was in Scotland. So try and do worldwide, but it's it's very similar worldwide with anything that we're talking about when we're scaling a business in this
Well,
industry.
that's the other thing that's phenomenal about, getting into this space. Once you've built it and learn it and understand it, you can do this anywhere in the world. Whether any one of those three options, right, is available for you as an opportunity. And so, one of our kind of next steps here is to expand out over into Europe and into the Caribbean and continue to grow. And I don't care if I'm managing or if I'm master leasing or acquiring, any of those three are going to work. And essentially, you can kind of grow your business and expand it globally, very quickly as well.
And give you a tax deduction when you have to fly to the Caribbean to go and visit it, right?
Exactly, definitely, and try to be down there more than not, right? So.
Yeah, I would be for sure. But folks, if you're listening in right now, obviously we love what we're doing. We love the industry, and I get my enjoyment now out of seeing other people replicate my success story by putting the methods into place, the structures into place, and becoming financially free and giving. I help. You know what I love doing, Rich, and I know it's really cheeky, and you possibly do this as well. I love helping people draft a resignation letter to give to their boss to get them out of that job. So
absolutely,
that's exciting.
It's all about that financial freedom and the flexibility to kind of manage your own time and be able to develop a business that gives you that freedom. So yeah, I mean that's everybody should be doing that, right?
Absolutely. Now I'm headed your way. I think we are going to be in the same place at the same time again in September. So I'm wondering if anybody is interested in coming and catching up with us in person. Do you want to tell everyone where we're going to be?
Right. So where are we going to be in September? In Orlando?
Austin. We're going to Austin, Texas. We'll be in Orlando is it October? Yeah, so we'll be in Austin in September, and we'll be in Orlando in October.
So I thought Austin was end of June. The IMN conference was end of June.
Sorry, there is that one too. So I'm not coming to that one. You'll have to.
You're not going to that one. Okay. But are they both short-term rental specific?
They are. So the one that I'm alluding to. So we've got IMN at the end of this month in Austin, and I was at that one last year with you up on the panel. That's right. And then, gosh, they party hard in Austin. So you go on your work and then you party hard. But then there's another event that, you're going to have to come back to Austin in September called the STR Growth Summit. And I'm going to pop the details of that one in the actually. Is there
now that I have clarification, I'm definitely going to go to that one too. So
let me just see if the actual. I might be saying this before they've even announced the actual website. So oops, hold on. Let's see if they've actually made this public yet. If not, we're going to just drop it for all your listeners.
If you want to shoot me an email, because I don't think on the StreamYard it doesn't let you put it in the comments, but if you send me an email, I can copy and paste it.
If you can you just type this in? It's strgrowthsummit.com. So strgrowthsummit.com, 10th to the 12th of September in Austin. And that's going to be an awesome event as well. So Austin, it's going to be the capital of short-term rentals in Austin.
Definitely.
STR Growth Summit. So can you tell Maeva you've got to come back, the two of you, to Austin?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I didn't know about that one. Now I do. So that's good.
Yeah. Folks, you're hearing it first because I don't know that I'm actually supposed to announce that, but I'm going to be emceeing that event and, looking forward to, maybe we might have Rich up on stage yet. You never know. Well, convince him. So.
Yeah, I'd love to participate for sure. All right, so we're getting close to the end here. What else do we want to talk about, Julie? I know we've covered a lot today.
Yeah, look, I think if you're looking to start off in this business, my advice to you would be to educate yourself as much as possible. Read some books as much as possible. Actually, do you know what, Rich? Let's do something. If anybody is listening in right now, the first 5 people to make comment now in the chat, I'm going to get Rich to give you, I'm going to email out a copy of this book to anybody who's listening in. So 5 people, if you just want to say, I want a book, whatever it might be, then let us know and we'll get you a copy of this $1 Million Host. So there we go. Someone's listening. So Rich, you have to take notice of who's listening and who we can give a book to here. But
I'll definitely get that out to those guys for sure.
I'll shoot you an email. And then folks, there we go. Now it's got your attention, isn't it? Wow, we've got 3 books to give out. Who's the other 2? Here's another
There's
one.
4.
One more book to give out. So the last person to come in, but Rich will get those to you. Someone's asking, sorry, I'll answer that question and then I'll come to the question in the chat. I would say make sure you educate yourself as much as possible and then get yourself a coach, because you are going to succeed whether you regardless, but you're going to succeed faster if you use someone like Rich by your side. And then, of course, once you've advanced and you've decided that you really love this business and you want to turn it into a massive empire like I did, then you come and have a chat to me. I've got 2 spots available at the moment for coaching. So I'm looking for the right people to work with. I'm pretty fussy about who I'm working with, but if anybody wants to, they can jump on. Orlando, someone's asking about the Orlando conference. Now that is, Rich, I might get you to pop this in the chat as well. So the Orlando conference is VRMA.
Yeah.
VRMA, oh gosh, what is the actual VRMA?
Is it their international annual one again?
So I think it's just vrma.org.
No, I've got it. I'm trying to see which one it is.
And that is going to be...
is it their executive summit again?
No, it's the international conference.
Right.
Okay, so it's October the 22nd to the 25th. It's going to be at Disney's Coronado Springs Resort. Gosh, that sounds like a bit of fun. And that is one of the biggest conferences. It's a one-stop shop for industry education, networking, and we would love to see you come along to that as well. So, Rich, we'll have to get up on stage on that one too, right? But
of course.
Are you a golfer by any chance? I'm just going to throw this out there. Do you play golf?
I am a golfer.
Okay,
I try to play. You're not?
I'm not, but we are going to hold a golf day the day before. I'm partnering with a couple of people, Mount Boostley. We're already putting together a little golf day to put on before this event. And
awesome.
I'll be in charge of the party afterwards. We're going to have a party at the so I'll let you do the golfing, but I'll do the I'll put the drinks on at the bar. So
that sounds great. That's awesome.
That's good.
So listen, Julie, I really appreciate the time today. It was great catching up with you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for taking the time. I'd love to have you back again sometime soon as well, so we can continue the conversation. I think the folks in the group are definitely appreciative of the information that you're providing. And so you always make it a point to drop some nuggets at us, which you've done today. So really appreciate that. Like Julie mentioned, if you guys are interested in the coaching that either one of us provide, I think the easiest thing is to shoot us a message on Facebook Messenger, and we'd be happy to schedule a quick 15-minute call just to kind of touch base with you, see what your goals and objectives are, see where you are in your business, and see how we can potentially help you. So we'd love to do that. And thanks again, Julie. We will hope to see you in September.
Yes, September, not in 2 weeks when I thought, sorry, we got confused. There's just too many events going on in our world.
There are, definitely.
I'll get, but thank you for having me today. And folks that have tuned in, thank you very much for listening.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. Take care.